All right, so we have a PowerPoint that is, that Shaquille put together, and now it's pretty much designed for Zoom. So we do this over Zoom. If you want to do it in person, you can sit down with someone on your iPad or laptop and kind of just go through the slides. But it's all there. You just have to know what to say for each slide.
So I'm gonna role play through this, and I'm just gonna imagine that Mike is the trainee in the appointment, and then Samir is gonna be the client. So when you start off, typically I'm not gonna go through that whole process, but you want to build rapport with who you're talking to, right? So I'm gonna find out a little bit about Samir, his background, if he's married, maybe how they met, what they both do for work. Where they live, what area, have they been there for a long time? See if you can find any connections with them right before you get into the presentation. Then I'll tell my personal story usually before I do that. And then after I tell my personal story, find out about the client, then I'm going to have the trainee, Mike, will then now tell a little bit about why he decided to get started. A lot of times when we're doing these training appointments, you're meeting with someone I don't know Samir, right? But maybe Mike knows Samir. So Samir wants to know, why did Mike get started with the business, the company? And sometimes that might speak more volumes than what your personal story is. So it's always good to have the new recruit tell their story before you get into it. So after that process, then we're going to go into the presentation. And I'm just saying, all right, thanks Samir again for meeting with us. We're in the fintech industry, which is just financial services through technology now. And we've been able to transition into this field, which is great. Doing a lot of things online. Our software and everything is electronic. Our plan that we put together can be ever changing. And it's just been a lot more convenient too. We don't have to drive in the DMV area traffic to meet with people in person. So it's been really nice. But we thank you for your time. And we know that time is very valuable. So we're going to do our best to honor your time today. So is there anything that you have to get to by a certain time?
How long do you think it's going to take?
45 minutes to an hour. I try to keep it within that.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, perfect. So, so as far as when we do these training presentations, there's usually three things that we expect and to help out Mike during this process. So first is hopefully you're super excited about Mike and him starting his new business with us. And one of the absolute best ways that you can help him out is by introducing him to people that you think could benefit. And so my goal is usually do a really good presentation. So hopefully you introduce him to 5 to 10 other people that you think could benefit, right? And it could be people just like you, people that have families, could be married couples, people that might be maybe even single parents, but that's typically our target market. So we're going to kind of ask a little bit about that throughout the presentation and definitely at the end. Then the next thing is value. So if you see any personal value in what it is that we're doing, we would love the opportunity to earn your business in any way, but by no means is there any obligations. And then the last thing is partnership. So this is one that I'm really excited about. Mike is not just only looking to be an agent with us, he's actually looking to become a broker, which means he's looking for other licensed agents, and we're looking for talent within our organization to expand. So if you know anybody that might be looking for additional income, maybe they're looking to transition out of corporate America, maybe they've always wanted to get into business for themselves and just never had the right training and mentorship to do that, then we love that introduction as well. So for you, personally, Samir, have you ever had any financial work done in the past?
Just sit down with someone at my job and they go over my 401k with me. That's pretty much it.
Okay, perfect. So with that, we will talk about some of those areas, but we'll kind of go through a majority of our concepts throughout the presentation with you today. So what we kind of see is that there's a lot of financial challenges going on in the country. 74% of workers are living paycheck to paycheck. 60% of Americans have less than $1,000 in savings, and then the average American household has $90,000 in total consumer debt. Right? Every time I read that, it's like mind blowing when you see these numbers of how much debt that people have. And it's kind of this cyclical process. So a lot of people, if they're paycheck to paycheck, they don't have enough money to save, and then emergencies come up, and then they're now overwhelmed with debt. So we want to help people kind of get out of those situations. And then 60% of households in the U.S. are underinsured or uninsured. And the average life insurance coverage gap is almost $200,000. So number one, people don't have coverage. And if they do, they don't have enough. So we want to teach people to make sure that they have the right types of coverage and the right amounts. And then lastly, nearly 30% of Americans have less than $25,000 in savings and investments put away for retirement. So Samir, if you stopped working today, how long do you think $25,000 will last you?
3 months.
3 months, right? So not a long time, not a solid retirement. So we want to teach people the right things to do with their money so they can be on track. And our mission has always been the same since we've started. It's been to provide education to help families become properly protected, debt-free, and financially independent. So proper protection is through the various insurances. We want to make sure that people are debt-free. That's kind of self-explanatory. And then we want to make sure people are financially independent. So now that's different for everybody, and there's no right or wrong answer. But when you hear that, Samir, what would you say is financially independent to you?
Have enough money where I don't have to worry about it.
Okay, perfect. So with that, we want to help you kind of get to that point where you don't even have to rely on the job anymore. When you think about most Americans, if they're not working a job, is there any income coming in? No. So we want to teach people how to save and invest properly. So maybe they have money coming in from their investments, or maybe they have a business and people are not working for them, so they no longer have to work. Okay. Now, who we represent is Primerica. Have you heard of Primerica before?
No.
Okay. So a couple reasons for that. Number one, we don't really publicly advertise. So that's why those introductions, those 5 to 10 introductions are very important. But number two, we actually were under Citigroup for about 20 years. Are you familiar with them?
I am.
Okay, perfect. So we were under them, ended up separating around 2008, 2009, and became independent. So now, even though we don't publicly advertise and we're independent, we're the leading provider of financial products to middle-income families. Have 130,000 licensed agents right now. Publicly traded on the New York Stock Exchange. So you can check out our stock. Our ticker's PRI, and been around since 1977, and currently have 7 to 8 million clients. So 5.5 million have insurance with us, and 2.6 have investments. So you can see a lot of people trust us with their money, right? Now, I know again you mentioned that you're not familiar with our company, but we're very highly recognized within the financial industry overall. As you can see here, I'm sure you're familiar with Forbes, right? So we've been recognized in Forbes in a lot of different areas. Best employers for diversity, best employers for women, on our products, best insurance company, one of the most trustworthy financial companies. So you can see that Forbes has recognized us in those various areas. Also, we've won the Dalbar Mutual Fund Service Award, I believe 18, maybe 19 years in a row. So with that, we've provided a lot of great service to our clients in those areas too. So that kind of shows the credibility that we want to upkeep as a company and that I would want to upkeep with my clients too. Now, what we feel is the current reality. This is kind of our opinion. You can agree or disagree, but we feel that people are more lost financially than ever. Do you agree with that? Okay, right. So with that, what I feel is that people are not necessarily lost and they just don't know anything, but they might be lost because there's an abundance of information out there, right? Social media, TikTok, Instagram, all these things that people see, they're like, wow, what's the best thing for me? Is it really crypto? Like, people may not know exactly the route to go. Sometimes maybe they're ashamed of where they're at, or they've made mistakes in the past and they're just a little nervous about moving forward. And so we feel that that stemmed from the financial institution, right? They don't really teach people, and we feel that they're not necessarily on the client side. So when you think about banks, the mortgage companies, the credit card companies, are they usually trying to keep us in debt or get us out of debt?
Probably keep us in debt.
Keep us in debt, right? And that's how they're going to make their money. That's how they profit. So with that, we want to help people get out of debt. And then with the insurance companies, think about insurance policies. Some people have life insurance. If they're 50 pages long, how do you think, I mean, how many people do you think read all 50 pages? Nobody, never. So a lot of times they may have policies, but they may not know exactly how it works. And so we want to make sure that we are on the client side and we feel we have the answers because we take an educational approach with our clients. We were founded by a football coach and teacher in Georgia. Unfortunately, his dad had life insurance and passed away, and they didn't get all the money that they thought they were going to get. And so he created the company with a bunch of teachers and coaches to go out and teach families how to win the money game. So not just with that, with that teaching approach, we also have a lot of resources. So we partner with great companies, and we feel that people do need us to kind of help get on track. So when we look at this wheel here of companies, what makes Primerica unique is that we have this one-stop shop philosophy. So what does that mean? When you think about Amazon, Walmart, Target, right? And we've had this battle with Walmart and Target, which one's the best, right? But why do people like those places? They can go to one location and get everything they need. So that's the same thing here with Primerica, but now it's with everything financial. And do you remember the best way to help out Mike that we talked about at the beginning?
Introducing the people.
Exactly. Do you remember how many?
5 to 10.
5 to 10. So we want to make sure that we're introducing him to 5 to 10 people. This is a great snapshot to keep in mind because these are all the different areas that he's going to be getting licensed in and be able to service clients. So first and foremost, before I go into it, are you familiar with any of these companies here or seen any of them before?
Yeah, a bunch. Fidelity, Franklin, AIG, Rocket Mortgage, Legalshield.
Cool. Awesome. So you know a majority of them. So that's great. So when we kind of look at this, our bread and butter is going to be the life insurance. We want to make sure the family is protected. If you know anybody, as far as like the investment side, if you know anybody that maybe has a business, smaller practice potentially, they may have like a dental office or a restaurant, mechanic shop, barber shop, we could potentially open up 401k plans for them and their employees. Annuities, if somebody's over 45, we can help provide potentially an additional stream of income if they're looking for that, or maybe protection against loss once they're getting closer to retirement. Then with the mutual funds, we can help with IRAs. If someone transitions from a job, rollovers, then if they have young kids, we can help with 529 plans as well. And then we have some supplemental services. So we have Legalshield, like you said, you're familiar with, identity theft. Vivint is #1 smart home security system. Answer Financial helps you save money on auto and home insurance. If somebody's getting close to 65, we can help them with a referral program for Medicare. And then Rocket can help with mortgages, right? Refinancing, first-time home buyers, cash out loans, all of those various areas. So when you see there's a very wide spectrum of how we can help our clients at all different stages of their lives. So any questions on that?
Nope.
All right. So as far as the plan that we're putting together for the family, we like to call it your money GPS. So why do we call it that? We want to help our client get from point A to point B, no matter where they're at. Sometimes people are on track, but like we said, most people may not be. They might not know where to turn. And even if they are on track, they might, life might happen, you know, and things may come up and it could kind of put them off track and we got to reroute and still get to the same goal. So it's always ever changing. Another thing that is great about this plan that we're putting together that separates us from other financial advisors is we don't charge any additional fees, right? So we put this plan together for our clients, completely complimentary, and then all of those companies that I told you we partner with, they pay us directly. So Samir, you would never have to pay me an additional hourly fee or an additional 1 to 2% on your investments, right? So with that, as far as the plan, we can help people establish their financial priorities, could be budgeting, maybe calculating net worth, so assets minus liabilities, establishing their FIN. So we're going to do a little interaction here. You want to take a guess at what FIN stands for? It's 3 words.
No idea.
No idea? You can get at least the first one.
Financial Independence Network.
Okay, close. So we got 2 out of 3, right? So what do you dial on your phone for the call somebody? Number. So financial independence number, right? So what is that? That's how much money we need to have saved up to be financially independent or retire, right? It's not an age thing, it's a number. So we can help people calculate that. Then we get to the point of helping people eliminate debt if they have any, and then understand coverage needs as far as kind of finding out if there's any gotchas, loopholes within their policies. And again, this is all complimentary. So one of the first concepts we're going to teach is called compound interest. Have you heard of this before?
Yeah.
Okay, so it'll just be a refresher for you then. So let's say somebody is going to save $200, just in general. Would you say $200 is a lot of money? No, not too bad. And when you think about most Americans, they kind of shop out of convenience. And a lot of times people have their coffee, hit up Starbucks, right? And they get a drink on a daily basis, maybe multiple times a day. While they're getting gas, they're getting a snack here and there. So on a day-to-day, how much do you think you might spend on just extra things like
$20.
$20 easy, right? So $20 over the course of an entire month, 30 days, that's $600, right? So when you look at it, $200 is only $6 to $7 a day. $6 to $7 a day. Anybody really could do that. And hypothetically, in this situation, if someone started at 30 and did this for 35 years, and they just put the money under their mattress, which I just found somebody that said that they still do that. $84,000 is what they would have, right? But can we retire with $84,000?
No.
No, not at all. So if we get that money invested now it's growing at about 3%, we have $148,000. If it grows at 6%, we have $286,000. But let's say we can get it to grow at 12%. What'd be your guess on how much it would be?
500,000.
500,000. Okay, let's see. 1.3 million.
Wow.
Right. So when I saw that, I was like, geez, why did they tell us to go to school? Why they not? I was a science major, so I learned a lot about Albert Einstein, but he said that compound interest is the most powerful force in the universe. I just kind of learned about other things like gravity, So when you go through this, they don't teach us, and why don't they teach us? I don't know, but we got to learn these things and then pass it down to our families, right? And learn how to create generational wealth moving forward. So we want to teach families how to invest. A lot of times it's going to be through mutual funds to start getting these higher rates of returns over time. Okay, so that's the exciting part, growing and accomplishing financial independence, but we also have to protect ourselves along the way. So if we look at this real life example here, we have a husband and wife, and they have small children, and both bringing in about $3,500 of income. And unfortunately, when we look at their bills, $7,000 is going out. So everything that's coming in is going out every single month, their paycheck to paycheck. And when you look at these bills, Samir, is there anything out of the ordinary there, or is it pretty typical?
No, it's pretty typical.
Right, normal bills. So like vacation or yacht fund that's in there, they got to pay this every single month. So what do you think is the worst thing that can happen to this family financially?
Lose their job.
Lose their job, right? So that's bad because now they only have half the income. But it's not the worst thing. What do you think could be the absolute worst thing?
Someone passes away.
Someone passes away, right? If we lose a job, it's a temporary loss of income. But if somebody passes, now it's a permanent loss. And if that was to happen, what could the family lose?
Yes, everything.
Everything, right? It'd be a total financial devastation. So if I was to ask you, if God forbid anything was to happen to you, Samir, would you want to leave your family in a better situation financially, the same, or worse?
Better.
Better. Now, knock on wood, if God forbid something did happen to you tomorrow, would your family be in a better situation financially?
No.
No. Right? So this is a very critical area that we want to make sure that we're discussing with families. And we like to call it income protection. It more accurately describes what it does. Life insurance, it doesn't bring back our life when we die, but it can replace our income. And so if we have the right amount and type, then now our income can be replaced to our family maybe potentially 10 to even 25 years. Right? So that's something that's pretty important that we want to make sure we're going. In transition now, on a scale of 1 to 10, if I was to ask you, 10 being the highest, how would you rate your desire to be properly protected, debt-free, and financially independent?
10.
10, right? For sure. So let's say you're going to build your dream home, right? And you're starting to build it from scratch. What's the first part of the home that you have to build that has to be the strongest?
The foundation.
Right. And if it's not strong, what's going to happen to the rest of the home?
It's going to fall.
Right. It's going to crumble. So with that, we want to have that exact same philosophy when it comes to building your financial house. So we believe that the foundation is the income protection for life insurance. And why? Because yes, we may want to pay off our debt, set aside money for our kids so they don't have to take out student loans, save and invest so we get to the millions of dollars by retirement. But imagine this foundation is weak. There's holes in it. There's cracks. If something happens and we don't have enough, someone passes away, now we're going to have to maybe pull out money from the retirement accounts. maybe potentially take out money from the college plans, and then the debt, I mean, it might not even get paid off, it might get in a worse situation. So everything will come crashing down, right? So when we look at this, if it's a couple, I'll ask both of them, but out of these 4 areas, what would you say are the 2 most important priorities to you right now?
Well, after seeing that, income protection and retirement.
Okay, perfect. Perfect. So what I'm going to do is just kind of go over some general information about the 2 areas that you chose. And it's cool because these 2 kind of tie in together, right? So we're going to start with kind of my overall philosophy